You're listening to Excellence Above Talent, a podcast where we have the hard conversations about the lives of men and what leads us to achieve greatness and suffer defeat. Hear from other men's journeys as well, as we all learn and grow together to become inspirations to ourselves and those around us. And now your host, Aaron Thomas.
What's up, my beautiful people? Aaron Thomas with Excellence Above Talent. This podcast is going to be about ways men can be abused. I've been watching the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial, just a little bit of it, and I see a lot of times men being abused and nothing said or done about it. And I'm glad that Johnny Depp fought for his name and fought to say, hey, this also happens to men. But I also feel that it was mutually abusive. Amber Heard was an abuser, but I don't think Johnny Depp comes out of it clean. I think there was some abusive things that he did, but the jury sided with him when it comes to the damages that were done. And I can't be mad or happy with the verdict because I know that there's a lot of pain going on with her and a lot of pain going on with him. No one wants to live that way. I'll tell you that right now. No one wants to treat people that way and no one wants to live that way. And I just see two broken people and they never did the work to heal past trauma and pain, and they bled on each other. And at some point, there will be an explosion. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can't run from it. There will be an explosion. And when there is an explosion, all lives get damaged. And so it's just important to me to talk about how men can be abused. Men are being abused and we're quiet. We're not saying anything. And I understand why. There are some things that prevents men from talking about being abused. And there's a stat that I'm going to say first, and then we're going to go into it. 1 in 4 men experience physical abuse in their lifetime. 1 in 4. And that's just physical. We're not talking about the other forms of abuse. Mental, emotional, verbal, financial, sexual. And those abusive tendencies get underreported. So there is a lot more men getting abused. We're just not reporting it. And one of the reasons why we're not reporting it is because of gender stereotypes. There's this push about men and how toxic we are. And it's so frustrating because if you take a step back, women can be just as toxic. But we don't focus on that. We focus on men and their toxicity. And it's creating a stereotype to where if a man is being abused, if he goes out and he says, I am being abused by a woman, not only men, but women would assume that he's a weak man. He's a man who can't control his wife. He's a man that probably deserves to be abused. And so men stay quiet. We as a society have weaponized manhood. And we have put men in a certain box. And if you don't act a certain way, then you're less than a man. Men don't want to appear weak. So we put on these masks. We put on this front and we act like everything's okay when it's not. No man wants to go tell his friend or his parents or his siblings that he is getting abused and manipulated by the person that he loves. And because he doesn't speak out and say anything, it causes damage. It creates low self-esteem, anxiety, depression. You begin to question your manhood. And are you man enough? When men don't talk about being abused, it creates feelings of loneliness, isolation, and shame. And it's sometimes in order to gain that power that they assume they don't have, they become abusive as well. They become violent. They start to do things that try to counteract that power imbalance. And if they become abusive, then the woman who's been abusing can now say, this man is being abusive. And that's another reason why he wouldn't talk. Because who is society going to believe if the abuser? If they both go to the police station and say, hey, this person is abusing me or that person is abusing me, let's just be real. 9 times out of 10, the woman is going to be believed. And the man is going to be thought to be the aggressor. And you can try to debate me on it or not, but Johnny Depp lost millions of dollars and movie opportunities because everyone assumed that he was an abuser. And Amber Heard kept working, kept getting movies. So it's not something that's crazy. It happens. It shouldn't happen. Abuse shouldn't happen. It is 100% preventable. My opinion. 100% preventable. But a lot of men don't know what that abuse looks like if it's not physical. So I'm going to take a few moments to kind of talk about ways women can abuse men and how it could potentially affect him. So one way is verbal. And it doesn't have to be her cussing at you or calling you names. It could be her never telling you that you're good enough. Her never validating the things that you're doing in the relationship, in your life. Always talking down, always looking down, never appreciative of the work that you are doing. And there's a saying that goes around that kind of pisses me off, where you don't get brownie points for the things that you should be doing. And it's like, no one should be doing anything. It's all a freaking choice. I'm choosing to do these things for you. I'm choosing to wash dishes. I'm choosing to watch, our kids, just like you are choosing. And we should walk around acknowledging people and the things that they do. It doesn't matter how small it is. Acknowledge, be thankful, be grateful that you have someone in your life making an effort to show you that they love you, to show you that they care. Don't downplay what people are doing. It's just the dumbest thing in the world. You downplay the small things. To me, you can't see the big things because you're only focusing on, well, he's supposed to be doing that. She's supposed to be doing that. And verbally, you only beat down a person for doing that. And so to me, men can be verbally, or women can verbally abuse men in all those ways plus more. Another way is emotional abuse. I just learned about a term. It's called breadcrumbing. It's the act of sending or acting in a way to where you're doing what that person is asking you to do, but when you want to do it. So you're leaving little breadcrumbs here and there, making that person think that you are choosing them or that you're there for them. But in the end, you're only doing it because you don't want a problem to occur. You have no intentions of doing what it is they're asking you to do. You just know that I know every 3 or 4 days, this man's going to be asking to cuddle or this man is going to want sex. And so it's a cycle that you put this person in to where every 3 or 4 days you give him something because you know that if you don't, he might come and start having like a conversation or he might start acting weird. And you're not doing anything that's wrong per se, but there's no effort being put in trying to be with that person. You're just leading them on. You have no intentions of going over and beyond to make sure that they're helping them live their best life. You're taking all that you can while giving them the bare minimum. That is what breadcrumbing is. Taking all that you can while giving this person the bare minimum. And people can feel that. They feel the effort. They feel the energy. They know when someone's trying and when someone isn't. Some red flags if you're being breadcrumbed by a female. They are less invested in getting together than you are. And I see it all the time with some of my guy friends. They get the number, they make the contact, they are talking, but then I see that my guy friends are putting forth all this effort, all this energy, all this emotion, and there's no investment back. That's brutal. You start to question yourself. Am I good enough? Am I worthy? Why doesn't she like me? Another red flag. You never know where they stand. You don't know if they want to be with you. You don't know if they don't want to be with you. You're in a ship on the sea and you're being tossed to and fro. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. It creates confusion and it drains energy. It drains your energy because you just don't know. Should I put energy into her? Should I not put energy into her? I'm going to just put energy into her and you still don't know. Another red flag is they warm up to you and then become cold quickly. So in the beginning, you hit it off. You're talking for a couple of weeks, and then she just stops texting, stop calling, stop trying to hang out, everything. She just disappears essentially. Or you can't understand or explain their actions. You don't know why they do the things that they do. You are the person on the outside looking in, and you're just hoping that at some point she'll pick you or choose you. At some point, you'll get an understanding as to what's really going on with her, but you never will because she's giving you just enough to make you continue down that path. She's giving you just enough crumbs for you to pick up and keep moving towards her, but she's not moving towards you. She's walking away from you. And some of the reasons why people breadcrumb, because men breadcrumb too, but we're not talking about men right now. We're talking about women and, why men are abused and reasons why they're abused. So why women breadcrumb men? They have low self-esteem. They don't feel good about themselves. And so breaking somebody else, making someone else feel like crap makes them happy, makes them feel good. Maybe not happy, but it makes them feel good in that moment to bring someone else down to the level that they're at. Another reason why is they need validation. They want people to make them feel good. And in order for them to make themselves feel good, they feel like they have to go out there and hurt other people, give minimum effort while expecting maximum effort from the opposite sex. They have narcissistic tendencies. It's all about them. They don't care about the other person. They don't care how that other person is feeling or what they're going through. And another reason why women breadcrumb is they're already in a relationship. They're playing with 2 hearts or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Hell, I don't know. But they're already in a relationship and they're stringing you along, making you feel some type of way. Another type of emotional abuse that women do to men is gaslighting. Gaslighting is you mislead the target, you create a false narrative, you make them judge, you make them question their judgment and reality. So breadcrumbing is leading somebody on, and gaslighting is making someone feel crazy. Did she say that? Did I say that? I thought she said we were going here. I thought she said we were doing that. And she completely changed it up and she's doing something totally opposite. So gaslighting is making them question their judgment or reality, creating a false narrative. So red flags, if you're in a relationship with a woman and you think they're gaslighting you, these are some red flags. They're always lying. They discredit everything you do. Whenever you bring up an issue or something that you're going through or something that you don't like, they will distract you. They will bring up another subject. They will use sex to create a power imbalance. Because most men, if they feel some type of way and they're going to their spouse and they're trying to have a conversation and she throws it at him, he's done with that conversation. He gonna just have sex. Let's just be honest. 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, hell. And so a lot of times when you're going into a situation and you're trying to get your needs heard and she doesn't want to hear it, she will distract you. She will try to minimize your thoughts and feelings. That's not what I meant to say. You're just taking it out of proportion. Or I feel like I'm the man in the relationship and you are the female because you have so much to say. So she's trying to role reverse. She's trying to play the essentially you're being a little bitch card and you should man up. So minimizing your thoughts and feelings, shift the blame. To me, this is a big one. If you are in a relationship with someone and everything is always your fault, you are in an abusive relationship. If the other person is never at fault and it's always you, that is a big red flag to me. It can't always be you. You can't always be the one screwing up in the relationship. There is no one that is perfect. And she's essentially telling you that she is perfect and she does no wrong. It is a red flag and a trigger for me, for sure. One of my triggers. It's easy to blame others for your decisions and your choices. But at some point, you're going to have to deal with those decisions and choices that you did. Or you might not never have to. But you can't shift the blame always on the other person. And fellas, it can't always be your fault. It cannot always be your fault. They also gaslight. Women could gaslight you by using compassionate words. So you're coming to them, you're feeling some type of way, and it's like a way to change the subject. You know I love you. You know I care for you. Come here, give me a hug. So essentially your feelings don't get heard. You're not understood. They just don't want to have the conversation. So they try to cuddle. They try to kill you with kindness because it's a game to them. And then they rewrite history. And these are all interchangeable. It's not just women doing it, men can do it too. But again, the topic is ways men can be abused and why we don't speak out. So women tend to rewrite history. So let's just say you had an argument. She called you a baby. You didn't like being called a baby because you were trying to express feelings that everyone says you have. But apparently, if you express your feelings, you are deemed a weak man. So you express your feelings. She called you a baby. And then 2 weeks later, you're having a conversation. And then you bring it up. You made me feel less than because you called me a baby. Or you made me feel unheard when you called me a baby. And she'll rewrite that whole entire conversation. She'll tell you she didn't call you a baby. She'll tell you that you're crazy. She'll tell you that you called her a name or you called her a baby and that you should apologize because she feels some type of way. And it just creates a lot of confusion because you know what is being said. You know what happened because you were there. But then you start to question, were you there? Are you making it up? Are you being a baby? Do you need to man up? Here are some signs that you are in a gaslighting relationship. Understand, gaslighting causes anxiety, depression, and other mental health concerns, including addictions and thoughts of suicide. Don't assume that this is a game or that people's lives don't get destroyed or changed because they're allowing someone to alter who they are as a person. And I'll tell you from experience, I might have had issues with alcohol and pornography, but being in a relationship where everything you did was questioned and nothing that you did was good, you look for other things to make you feel good. And I didn't have any healthy alternatives. I had them, I just wasn't using them. So I ran to alcohol and I ran to pornography. And you combine those two together, you are going to want to find another person or a partner outside of your marriage or outside of your relationship. And you create more chaos and drama when you add addictions to it. Multiple addictions when you run from what needs to be addressed. Or even if you're not running, it can't be addressed because what you're asking for or what you're needing isn't being heard by the person that says that they love you. So you're confused and you're hurt and you're thinking to yourself, man, it can't be like this. You can have addictions and have struggles, but still treat someone the best way you can. Still give that person everything that they can possibly want or need or ask for. It's not okay to stay in a relationship when that person is gaslighting you. Because it does. It causes a lot of pain and trauma. It causes you to doubt your feelings and your reality. You start to lose on what's real and what's not. What conversations did we have that were true, and what conversations were made up? Should I feel this way? Should I feel hurt? You question your judgment and perception. You feel vulnerable and insecure. And I will tell you right now, as a man, the most weakest a man feels, and he shouldn't, but he does, is when he's vulnerable and feels like he's being taken advantage of. So he's opening up and he's trying to express, and nothing's happening. Just not a good place to be. You become disappointed in yourself and who you've become. You look in a mirror and you don't like the person you see. You see all the masks that you have to wear in order to make that person happy. You see all the mask that you had to wear because that person told you said this or you did that. And when you look in the mirror, you are confused at who you're looking at. You don't know that person. You don't know that man. I had an issue with feeling like I was too sensitive. I wanted to have an open and honest relationship. But I felt like the more I talked, the more sensitive I became. But it wasn't me becoming sensitive. It was me not being heard, me not being understood, me not being taken serious by the person that I was with. And I felt like I was talking too much. I felt like I was sensitive. I felt like I should just stop talking and suppress whatever feelings that I had and act like everything's okay when it wasn't. The last thing about, the last sign that you're in a gaslighting relationship is you struggle to make decisions because you distrust yourself. You don't believe in who you are as a person. You don't trust who you are as a person. You're slowly deteriorating, essentially what it feels like. Every day, you're losing bits and pieces of yourself, trying to appease and please someone who does not give a damn about you. Because if they did, they wouldn't make you feel this way. And I know no one can make you do anything. But if you're in a relationship and you're trying and she's not, you're going to feel a certain type of way. Other abuse that could happen in a relationship in ways that men can be abused is sexual abuse. Women use sex to control her man. Women withhold sex. And I understand your body, your choice. That's 100%. But if you're withholding it because you're wanting something from your man, or you want him to change your behavior, or you want him to take out the trash, that's abusive. You're creating a power imbalance. You're forcing someone to do something in order to get what you want, to give them what they want. It's breadcrumbing. It's a little effort, promising sex, and using sex to hurt and control him. And y'all, I'm going to tell you this right now. Men, sex is very important to us. We will die for the cat. We will kill for the cat. We will do anything for the cat. And there are a lot of women who know that. And they know that they can get whatever they want if they learn how to control a man through sex. And some do. And some guys don't see it until they see it. This is a form of breadcrumbing. This is a form of sexual abuse. And here are some signs. Maybe you have a friend who is in a relationship and you don't know what's going on with him. He's changing. And change is good. You know, you should always be changing. But he's changing and it's not in good ways, right? So signs that men are experiencing abuse, change in personality. They stop being the person that they used to be around you, and they start doing things totally different. Like if you wasn't a person who fixed things, who went out of their way to help people, or they went out of their way to help people, and now that person's trying to fix everything and they are not trying to help anybody, that's a concern. You should, start making note and paying attention to those things. They become fearful or anxious about their partner's response. They become overly apologetic, always saying they're sorry. Needs to check in with their partners repeatedly. And I get it. Guys' night out, there should be some level of communication. If you're going to stay out 30 minutes or an hour past what it is that y'all discuss, reach out and have that conversation with her. But every 5 minutes you're calling her saying, hey, I'm good. Hey, I'm okay. Hey, we're here. Hey, we're there. That becomes questionable. Depression. Men don't like to talk. We don't like to express our emotions or feelings. So if someone is becoming or is very depressed after someone new has walked into their lives, you have to question what's going on. And a lot of times, men's depression, it is expressed through anger. So we're punching holes in walls and we're trying to fight and we're throwing things and we're breaking things and we want to feel normal. We want to feel okay. But when you go into that house and chaos is the only thing you feel in your house, there is a lot of anger and depression there. You run to substance abuse and alcohol. If someone is drinking more often or doing sexually promiscuous things more often, you have to start questioning what's going on the inside. That person wasn't doing that before and he's doing it now. What's going on? When someone's walking around and they've had high self-esteem this whole time and now their self-esteem is low. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to get out. They don't want to hang out with family or friends. They just want to stay at the house and hang out by themselves, not do anything. Those are concerns and signs that this man could potentially be abusive or this man is being abused. I know this is something that a lot of people aren't going to like. I could clearly care less because it's information that isn't out there. They just kind of run through it. Women are abused, 1 out of 3. Men are abused, 1 out of 4. They don't have a shelter for men. They have a shelter for women. Here lately they've been talking about it's a shelter for all, but there are women's shelters all over the world. There's no men's shelters for guys who are in abusive relationships. It is frowned upon. Let's just be honest. It is frowned upon if a man is being abused and he's not doing what is necessary to allow that abuse to happen. We have to change the narrative, or don't change the narrative. Take a step back and look at the whole picture. It's not just men being toxic and narcissistic. Women are also toxic and they're also narcissistic. But there's no one talking about that. Are we afraid? No one should suffer in silence. Men shouldn't suffer in silence. Women shouldn't suffer in silence. Kids should not suffer in silence. No one should suffer in silence. And if someone is being abusive, if someone is holding you back from being the best you could possibly be, you need to talk about it. You need to express yourself. It is okay to not be okay. It's not okay to stay in something that's one-sided. It's not okay to be breadcrumbed. It's not okay to be gaslit. It's not okay to be hit or verbally abused. It's not okay. It doesn't make you more of a man if you can take the abuse and keep on going. It doesn't. It's breaking you down daily. You will become that monster. Trust me. If you stay in an abusive relationship and you begin to fight back, you will look in the mirror and not know who you are looking at. That monster will be unleashed and it can and will wreak havoc. If that's you returning the favor and becoming abusive, if that's you running to alcohol and gambling and porn and other women, it can't be controlled until you get out of that situation, until you get out of that relationship and you start growing and working on yourself. No one should be in an abusive relationship. No one, men or women, shouldn't be in an abusive relationship. And we should start talking about it more, fellas, because it's not okay. But it's not okay for you to become abusive. It's not okay for you to put your hands. It's not okay for you to, gaslight or breadcrumb other women. Let's just be mature about it. In this process, going through a divorce, working on myself, trying to, figure myself out. I don't want to lead anybody on. I don't want to make someone feel the way I have felt before, because it can be dangerous. As a man, you have needs. And if you know that someone likes you, if you know that someone will give you the cat, it's not okay just to take the cat because you can. That makes you a weak person. Makes you a weak man. Don't hurt people because you can't control yourself. Learn how to control yourself first, and things will be a lot different. So, if anyone hasn't told you today that they love you, let me be the first to say I love you. You're awesome. You are amazing. You deserve the best that this world has to offer. Do not give up. Do not quit. The world doesn't get better, but you will get stronger if you do not give up. Y'all have a blessed weekend, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And for daily motivational and up-to-date content, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Excellence Above Talent. And remember, keep moving forward, never give up, and you are never alone in this battle. We'll see you next time.